So I'm gonna open this up right now and we'll get started. I hope everyone is easing into this new month. Okay.
Um, Also, I'm like way behind in life right now, so I'm like eating and
You are
like I'm
cool. No worries. Okay, Sierra. Can you see this okay? Or should I just send it to you as well?
yeah, I can see that.
Okay. So, um, let's start from the top. Project Fashion Centered. Title Black is Fashion. Center of the fashion world. Black people is the tagline. So going to like what you mentioned last time in that first session of like the who, what, where, why, how, when. I see that that is easily notable. So yeah, if you want to just talk about it out loud and provide any feedback, whatever
Yeah.
makes sense for you.
The world of fashion is born on the backs of um. So when thinking about like in the order that you want to answer these questions in, you always want to put your why first. So your tagline can either be the first line or it can be the last line of your why. And think of it as like your mission. So uh, if you're thinking about the tagline about your mission is like, okay, why do you want to center Black people in the fashion world? And so you kind of answer this here is to remind the world that the fashion industry was born on the backs of Black people. That's kind of depressing. So to make it a bit more positive, think about more so leaning towards like celebrating the contributions rather than it leaning towards something that Black people have been denied. Um, with and depending on the application, you can go either way with that because some applications and some like organizations lend more to either one of those stories. So, but I always try to center the joy in anything. And so, thinking about how are you going to amplify the contributions of Black people in the fashion world rather than saying that it was like born on the backs. Because obviously it was, but like how exactly? Or how did it come about? Really thinking about it in that sense. Um, I would elaborate on uh, like really if you're not saying not fashion models, but and you're thinking about Black people in their regular day life, I would uh, you don't have to say not fashion models, but really be specific about what type of Black people are you talking about? So is it Black people in a geographical area and you're looking at a specific style? So like Detroit, I know like Detroit men have an entirely different suit style than Southern men. Um, and probably a good resource to look at that particular what I just said about um, suits is Chantrell Lewis. She did. Uh, I'm not in my studio today. Obviously, you can see that, but my the book that I have in mind that I'm thinking about is Dandelion. Um, and she compiled, like, she did a whole research project on about men and their suits and dandelions, which is what they're called in Africa and where that stemmed from. So really being specific about what type of people you're looking at, and then you can kind of, like, just like I did, kind of pull, like, all right, I know who I'm thinking about, I know what that looks like, and I can kind of start pulling the research from there, because right now it's really broad. And if you're saying where you want to do it, like start in Florida, then I would say, where's the historical, like, root of it in Florida, and how does that affect how you're actually documenting it? Um, but as far as the statement, I would be more specific about your how and why, um, and you can kind of, like, start pulling the where, who, and when, in those how in the hows and whys once you do that. Um, as far as the technique, I would stray away from uh too many technical terms, so they know what digital photography is, but our RBG format, a lot of people don't know what that is, so either you're going to have to explain that, or just give them an example. I don't see any influences here. So in your technique, you can kind of also lead to this, how this project is influenced by certain uh, either other photographers or other projects. Really not other projects, but mostly other works. So, like, if it is like Roy DeCarvo or Carrie Mae Weems or Chanterelle Lewis and her work with Dandelion, kind of mention those so people can get like a visual of uh, what your project is leaning towards. But I really think you have to, like, flesh out really what this why is, so that people can envision what you're doing while they're reading it, specifically towards what type of fashion, um, because the fashion world is so broad, and you really want to niche down your project.
This is amazing feedback, and she agrees. She put that in the chat. Because again, she's in class but can't really talk. But I think this is super helpful, especially the part where you're saying just to like elaborate more on the where and also the why, and the framing. I think I like the way you're saying how to change the framing of it. So this is really good. Looking at the chat. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm also curious as to why Florida, and so I'm glad that you mentioned that, as to mentioning if there's any specific roots or ties to Florida of why there and where else it could, take
Yeah.
form.
I think also, if you want to kind of reel in your tagline too, you can really root that in Florida, really root that in the geographical area. So
Mm,
saying that, like, uh, the fashion in Florida, or a particular area in Florida leads to this type of style, or this type of style was born in the Everglades of Florida. Something really, like, hooky like that, um,
mm,
and can lead you into, like, talking into the rest of about the rest of the project.
amazing. Pamela, if you have any other questions about the feedback or anything else that you wanted feedback on, drop it in the chat whenever you can, and we can hopefully help. Thank you, Sierra. The next person I received it from was Joy. Um,
Wait, not me yet. I'm sending an updated
okay.
one. I'm sorry.
No worries. Anybody else come ready with an artist statement? Please drop it in the chat. This is what this session is for, is to actually get feedback. Jane Pamela also sent a glossary of her words that you mentioned to do. And so far she has 30 words. Let me share that screen so we can talk about that in the meantime while people are getting theirs ready. Can you see this okay? Oh, oh gosh. Okay. So when you're thinking about the glossary of words, how does this, is this a good starting point, Sierra, in your eyes?
Yeah, so these are more leaning towards like describing these seems like words from the how section, how you're going to do it. So if it also helps, you can break the words down into where you want to use them. So these are more so how words, involve, normal, identify, encapsulate, limitation, commence, crisp, clean, telling me how you want to do the things or how you want something to look. But it doesn't tell me, it's not giving me any words about um, where it's located. So you can any geographical words that you want to use, like Everglades, um, sunny, hot. Just think about the weather of Florida, or however, like relating fashion. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but relating, really getting at words that relate to why people are dressing the way that they're dressing in Florida. So maybe that's they wear these type of suits because and what words would be linked like this. Are they linen suits? Is that a type of adjective that's used? Is it a, breathable suit? Is it uh, a starch or a corduroy? Like what type of materials? Think about the materials that they're using and those words connected to your materials, and then also think about like I said, weather. Um, think about those issues that you want to address in the fashion industry. What words are attached to that? So if there is a stigma about Black people not being included in the fashion industry, um, where did my words go? What type of words are attached to that? So like you can say stigma, you can say contributions, you can say like uh uh, stigma, contributions. I don't, like I said, I don't really want to lean towards negative words either. So like backs, if it's like that was one of the words that I really don't like using the bodies of Black people as adjectives or verbs. So uh yeah, just I think where you need to go now, Pamela, is just breaking down like from each section. Think about each section, think about the words that you want to use in each section, um, and that will kind of give you more than you're needing.
Awesome. Thank you for that. If you have any more questions relating to yours, feel free to drop it in the chat. Who's next?
I just think you mind, Polly.
Okay, yay. And you see, y'all, that wasn't so bad, so don't be intimidated. This is what this is for. We're all learning, we're all working towards this. I'm gonna open up yours now. Okay, does that, can everyone see that okay?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. You can tell me when to scroll down as you read, Joyce.
This first sentence is really long. Just a grammar thing. Oh no, and why I do this, sorry.
This one.
Yes, it's just a long stream of consciousness.
Where would be a good breaking up point?
At project. I would more say like if that's what you want, and then go into like how you see the project being, um, how you see the project being accessed. So if it is a good word to use is multi-platform, um, and then explain the different types of platforms. So book, a museum exhibition, or showcase, a documentary. Uh, I want people to have access to historical assets. You said access twice. So just watch double wording like that. I want people to have access to the historical, like, what is the connection here to the Southern? Is it just that you want them to have access to the Southern Faces Project, or do you want them to have continued access? Like, I'm not getting at like what you're like creating.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't really think thoroughly through the project because it feels like it's a constant. More so, like if someone sees the work, whether that's a book or in an exhibition or in a museum, they'll be able to say, like, if it's like 10 years from now or something, I feel like that's what I mean by access. Um, I guess context wise, I didn't really, I guess for why I started the project, I didn't really know that a lot of queer people existed where I was until I got to college. And I just really wanted to know where we were and who we were. And that's kind of like the basis for all of this. And it kind of just expanded into, well, who's telling our stories as Black people, and how is that being represented, um, like in a historical sense and in a mainstream type of present day sense.
And I love that. And I think you do a really good job right here at the end.
Yeah, I just think for the first part, like just really clean up of like, I know it's a stream of consciousness, but um you gotta cut some words for me to, I think you're trying to say too much.
Okay.
And like you can be real straightforward about it. Like, you know what your project is, you know where you want it to go, and you know who the people that you're documenting, and like that's it. I think you do it really well in like the first part, but you might have been just kind of like rambling here. um I think for the, when you're asking this main question, you can say like you've already developed the project, right? And so now like you're just continually answering where are we, who are we, and what makes us uniquely us. And so uh, for you as the documenter, you have to tell people how you're going to do that. And so the project is for you is to go, okay, for me to answer where are we, um, I have to do research at X, Y, and Z, or I would like to go to these three states during this amount of during this time period to figure out, um, or if you looked at, or if you're looking at, I don't want to say the census, but if you're looking at different uh, demographic research for the states, then you can kind of get those answers to where are we, who are we, um, and saying, I would like to go to these states because 15% of this county is saying that they're queer. And I would like to go and document them. You've already done the research, you already know that they're there, you already know that it will be a significant, or if you want to lead towards like the lesser known counties or lesser known places where things is, so you can say like, all right, only 1% of Chatham County, which is in Savannah, is queer. Why is that? Where are they and who are they? And so I would like to go to Savannah because to document that 1%, so that in the event this multi-platform project would be a book or exhibition or a documentary, people know that queer people are in Chatham County. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think you're muted.
Yes, that makes sense.
Um,
Yeah, I guess like a lot of this is stream of consciousness because I've had to explain it in certain ways a lot of times to different people, and I don't really just sit down and think about what I do. And writing it down actually was very helpful. And just I have a tendency to over explain, as you said, in the why I do this. Like it's a lot of information.
yeah,
And yeah.
I think I think from here, like where you can go from what you have now,
Mm.
uh, is like you can start from your statement. Okay, like if I was to start this after your statement, currently she's an Alabama State Council on the Arts Fellow for 2020, 2021. The next sentence would start, um, uh, she is currently exploring, or you can start with the title of your project, um, and go into the title of your project is a multi-platform is a multi-platform exploration of the LGBT community in Alabama. I would like to expand this project to XY 1, 2, 3 cities because they all they all have 1%, they all have less than, I don't know, 3% queer people um, located in their counties. That is two sentences that tell people what you're doing, why you're going to do it, where you want to do it, and then you can go into how. Um, um, did that make sense?
It does.
I know I said that really fast because I was thinking fast, but yeah. And then you can start bringing in these your influences. You can say, I know Dawu Bey. He also did a similar project with. Well, he was doing the similar project with the Underground Railroad thing. So you might want to reference that. But yeah, I think you're on a good start. You just have to like start moving the stuff around and really getting the words together and getting them like succinct. And I would say really, I think what you can lean heavily on is definitely that research of how many people are located in those areas, um, can really be a good hook for you.
Cool. Thank you.
That was really helpful. And I was wondering where she said like my question in my work is, and then like those questions. Is it best to phrase it that way, or just like my work explores and answers the themes of or these questions, or what? I don't know if you had any feedback on that part.
Which part?
Let me open it up again. it was, because I've seen people do it so many different ways. Right here, the main question I have in my work.
You can add that in the statement. Like, it's okay to ask like the questions directly, and then just go ahead and answer them for the people for them. In that, it allows them to see that you're curious. But sometimes, depending on the word count, depending on what type of application it is, you have to like take some stuff out. So that'll definitely be a part that like you probably have to take out eventually. But if it helps you kind of um, write through at first and answer it directly, then you can say that. But I think at least the 2012 um, statement is pretty succinct. It's just a matter of you really locking in a how now, like really telling people how you're going to do this, and not even how you're going to do this, like you said, like where you eventually want it to live. So you already have like the vision for like where you want this project to live. um
Is it necessary to mention like this? Like, would people see this and wonder why there was a pause?
Well, I'm sorry. That was just I guess I was just looking at when you said timeline
Yeah.
in the previous session. That's just for reference, probably for me more so than anybody else. I just put that in there.
No worries. I was just thinking out loud. Because and I don't think people would see that differently. I think that's great that you've been thinking about it and been working on this since then. I love that. I don't know, Sierra, if you had any additional thoughts.
yeah, no, I don't ever mention that I've paused on my work. I'm always thinking about my work and what it is. So like if they're looking for like new work samples, like if they're saying that like um if they're asking you like why haven't you documented anything since 2013 or you started, or they see like a jump and they like directly ask that, then I wouldn't have to answer that. But um yeah, or if it's an application that's like you have to have new work, then that's just making you go out and make new work. But if you don't want to make new work just because you either like you don't have money, you don't have time, or you don't have access to the people that you want to document, don't be pressed to do that just before the application. Like it's your project.
Awesome. Joy, do you have any additional questions or things you may want feedback on?
Not really. Not right now. No.
Okay.
Thanks.
No worries. Who's next? We have 25 minutes, y'all. Who's next?
Mm-hmm. Or if anybody had any questions, I'm fine with that. Also, again, I'm not in my studio, so I don't have like my brain behind me. This is my library. Link is fine. I can open it up.
I'm sorry. I was waiting for my kid to finish Spanish class.
I love that.
And he's back. It's not done whatsoever, but I'm gonna go ahead and share this link.
No problem.
Like I don't even have my name on it. Wait,
Are
what is
you
that?
the Spider-Man we see? Oh my goodness. I love it.
There's probably some typos in there, so let me guys. Anybody can open it. Wait, let me restrict it. Only people can open this link.
Sierra,
Yeah.
you can open it.
I think it's still gonna make me ask for access.
I just updated the permission. It should. So
Mommy, turn off the stove.
turn the stove off.
No, Mommy, I can't.
Okay, give me a second. I just updated the permission. It should be okay.
Oh.
You might have to send another link. Oh, never mind.
In the meantime, may I ask a question? I missed the first session and I will watch the video, but I just wanted to know when to use an artist statement. When do we use them?
So normally these are like on your websites, or like I don't like saying that you're writing something for an application. Like this is a part of like who you are as an artist. This is a part of like what projects you're working on and like the purpose of your work. So it's just like a internal thing that you want to keep doing in your practice. So if you're working on a certain project, you're always asking yourself like who, what, where, when, and why. And so that like when you upload it to your site or you're talking to someone about it, you're able to put that statement with the photos, or you're able to send that statement with them so that they're able to get an idea of like what exactly you're doing and where they can and then also y'all can start thinking about when you're sending these statements to people or they're on your website, people are looking for how they can help you. So you really want to be very clear about what you're doing, because whoever is reading this, they have certain skill sets and certain stakeholders and certain positions that they can be like, oh, Regina is interested in documentation. I am a newspaper writer. I can help her get stuff documented, or I can connect her with a writer or another photographer that can just have a deeper conversation about documentation. So thinking about the conversations that you want to have, thinking about the people that you want to connect with will better help you write your statement so that people, like I said, with Joy's statement, is that really honing in on the specific places that she wants to go to and really honing in on the percentage of people that she wants to document or specifically target, so that when she sends this off to applications or things like that, and says she sends it to the senator, not the senator, but the councilman or something of Chatham County. And he's like, and she sends it to him to say, hey, I'm doing this project in your county. I just wanted you to be aware. And he's like, oh, I definitely support LGBT community, the LGBT community. Let me connect you to people that are also in the county that are working on those types of issues. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Now, I think I was, excuse me. I think I was a little confused, not confused by it, but it felt like how I would write a pitch. Could you use this when pitching stories?
Yeah, most definitely. Like this is like priming you to getting you to talk about your work in more of a succinct way. So like think of it as like your script to say like, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is why I do it, this is who I'm serving. And you can definitely turn it into an elevator pitch at any time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Regina.
Also help me.
You guys can't see it, but I'm literally editing like this Google Doc while she's reading it.
This is definitely a great project, Regina. I mean, of course, I'm all about documentation and archives. So, um, uh, I would say until you start traveling, just say Chicago. Mm, if you're saying 1 to 2 families a month, and like you can be more specific about that. So if you're doing like the first, if you're doing it like the first of the month or the second of the month, um, and really also, y'all, this is really like Joy said, it really helps you build out your project scope. So you're not just doing things haphazardly. You're giving yourself restrictions and boundaries to work into. So like if you know that you want to document in Chicago and you know you want to do 1 to 2 families a month, then when actually are you going to do 1 to 2 families a month? Is it going to be the every first weekend? Is it going or every second Saturday, every fourth Saturday, every third Sunday? Like you really, really, really want to be specific about how you're going about this because it'll give you the instructions on how to do your project. And then the statement will just flow out of the work. Um, I would say when listing your influences, these are like publication influences. Be specific about what exactly they did that you're pulling from. So I know of Humans of New York did that interview style that you're talking about, but what about Life magazine are you pulling from that may influence the project as well, or do you see them being well, you kind of said it's more as like photo essays, um, but
That part, the photo essays part.
yeah. Um, is it just going to be digital photography?
And scans, but I didn't know how to word that part because the part is just like pick a couple of pictures that they pick that they want to tell the stories about, scan them and have them be a part of the photo essay, and then take a picture of the family as they are now, the parts of the family that told the story, and hopefully they're in the picture that they picked.
Mm. Um, it would just be photos courtesy of their archives. Um, because you wouldn't really know you wouldn't really know the process of whatever photos that they're showing you until like you um, got with them. But if you want to like define that even more, you can kind of like because you also have to ask the families for this information. So you want to be very clear about what type of photos. Do you only want photos from them from a certain time period? Um, I know you said brings back memories, so I think you can be a little bit more specific about um, where they're pulling the information from,
Okay.
or what time. Like if you want, because you can be specific about it. Can like this can get really broad, or it can be like really specific, which isn't. I don't think there's a bad part in this because like archiving is very broad. But if you only want to focus on um like if you only want to focus on a certain time period when you're talking with the family, so say hey, um I want to see photos from the 1990s, or I would like, do you have any photos from the 19th century, the 20th century, the 21st century? So like what story do you want to tell on your platforms? Like these families are pulling from the 19th century um, of their archives. Like they've had these photographs for like passed down throughout the family, or do you want to say like uh, these photographs are more recent and they're like pulling from like their 21st century memories? So you can kind of like round out the project there. Um, but I also think you may want to get more of the older photos. So if you are wanting to get more of the older photos, then ask for that, and not like letting it be an option for the families to kind of be like, hey, here's my photo from 2001, when you really want the story of like their great 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 grandmother, you know.
Right. Okay.
um I think your goal is pretty great. Um,
Wait, where did I stop typing? I don't even.
for the
Oh, okay.
Instead of saying for as long as I can remember, I would give a time to that, since I was um well, is that for long as I can remember, you can say giving a specific time, like since I was 12 or since I was 10 or since I was 5. Like when was the actual time that you can remember that documenting has been a part of your life? And then you can kind of go into how you did it in different forms. And I think you can go into how documentation turned into more of a career because uh, you were the paparazzi of your family. Um, you can take I would say take out I vividly remember. um I'm just considering word count right now, like
Yeah.
you could be like straight up with like what it is, because you only have a certain amount of words. So this is why I was trying to get you all to kind of write towards those like word counts, um because then you'll be able to like right now you can still be in that long statement, like that 1500 statement, like right until it's like 1500 words, and then cut it down, like make a new document and cut it down, make a new document and cut it down, um, so that you always have that like first draft of whatever you did.
Okay. Because I was thinking that first part, since I'm getting ready to redo my website and whatnot, just those first couple of paragraphs would be the artist statement, like whenever someone asks me for it. And I can always put it in a project, but probably just switch up the words a little bit.
um I, I would probably have to dig more into this to like kind of like help with the structure of it, but from what I see right now, I would switch. You can't see my screen. I would switch one of the most experiences of my life.
Or I can see it because you highlighted it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, one of the most experiences of my life was looking through my father's old prints. Like, start with the storytelling of like why you're here, and then get into like how that experience made you into the person you are, and then into the work, into how that's helping you make the work now.
Okay.
And then same thing with kind of goal. You don't have to say your goal. That's like directly at that when you're in an application. Like if they ask you what is your goal, then you start with my goal. You know, But if it's just a statement, you can say, I am here, or this project, or whatever the name of the project is. Um, that part, yeah.
I don't have a name yet.
You should have a name.
I
Oh,
know.
you have to name your baby, right?
Yeah.
I mean, babies go a long time, can go a long time without names, but
And I just thought about the project, and then I was just like, I didn't even like consider that I would have to name it.
I mean, some people don't name it, but I feel like it helps me. But also, this can just be, if you don't want to name it and you kind of want to integrate it into your business, this can just be a service.
Right.
But naming it also helps with like trademarking and websites and stuff like that. Most applications for shorter word counts are around the like 250 to 750 is what they lean towards. Max 750, really max 500. I've been seeing that people want to see, but 1500 isn't really until like you don't really want to get into like 1500 until like you're either being like interviewed or it's like notes for a podcast interview that you kind of want to like just read from and kind of go around like bits and pieces of it, or if you eventually want to like write a research paper and submit your project for a journal or a publication, or if you're on like an institution level, if you're like working with a professor, then that's where like your 1500 starts coming in handy because you've already like written it. Or if you're for Regina, I would say if you want to expand this project to getting like university funding or going to the archives to actually research, that 1500 would like help you.
Okay.
And just a refresher, if you forgot about the exercises or you missed the first session, Zira asked us to do 100-word artist statement, 250 artist word statement, 500-word artist statement, 750, and then the 1000 and up, just to get in that habit because you never know when you'll need them. If you're, like what you said, like applying for things, but just to really going back to what she said, it's just getting in that habit to talking about ourselves and our works, regardless of whatever application we may be using it for. I know, like I recently applied for something. I think I had it fitted in 180 characters. So really, just trying to get in that habit is just good all the way around.
Yeah, and then after word count, people really start getting on your nerves when they ask for characters.
Yes. It really does test you. I'm like, 108 characters, not even words, characters. I'm like, it makes you really think about how intentional are you being with every word.
It's like a tweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, if someone wants to there, and it's a good exercise if you want to talk about your work in the like shortest amount, like
Mhm.
you only have 2 seconds to tell somebody about like what you do for the rest of your life, then it has to be 180 characters.
Yeah. And there are actually, I have seen applications where that it's literally like in one tweet, tell us about yourself, and in one tweet,
And
tell us
really,
about your work.
really they're just a person that builds application for stuff is like really we're trying to get out of the application content for social. So if you've already given me a tweet that I can tweet, I don't have to write anything.
That is
So
smart.
the 180 statement is just like, okay, here's this person that we're supporting, here's a link to their work, it's already done. And that's why I talked a lot about controlling your narrative, because if you don't give them 180 words, they're gonna come up with them themselves, and you can't be mad at them when it's
Mhm.
not something that explains your project in the way that you want it to.
Yeah. And even now, like right now, one of the side projects I'm working on is with Adobe, where they partnered up with Black Archives, and I'm like, I have to talk about this person and their work and their aspirations and everything, and what they like about the platform, all these things in less than 300 words. And I'm like, how do I even like begin to do that? And so I think it's really a great challenge for me. And like you said, like if you're not clear, then they will just pull in and pull out or whatever. And you really want to have that control of your story. Like what she said. um I'm seeing we're close to time. There's 4 minutes left, and you missed the first session. The replay is on the site. Please do check it out. It's very helpful and informative, and she thoroughly explained the different types of artist statements, and why they matter, and just the process of like writing one. And so please do check that out, and then use that to inform you for when you're actually writing a statement. All of these things are here to really just to help you. And that's how you'll get the funding. That's how you'll get whatever else that you're working towards. I don't know if there's any last minute questions. We have 3 minutes left. Anyone relating
Um,
to what we've discussed or about your specific artist statements?
Someone dropped a link, but I'm not able to um, look at it. You
Oh,
can for the whatever tense. It can be in first person. But for like formal things, you like write in third person. So like saying like Sierra is or Sierra currently, da da. But for the most part, yeah.
and
So
I think it's really helpful to have both. Yeah, see, like exactly for that reason. That's what I was about to say, because any brand, any platform you'll speak on, anywhere you'll go, that's how they'll be introducing you, and your work is in third person. So having that on standby.
like I said, people don't like writing.
Yeah.
And so like it's like anything that they can copy and paste that is like a very good description about like what your work is, then that's what they're gonna ask for. And they're not being paid to write for you. Being paid to write your they're being paid to amplify your work.
Right. Right.
And so the less writing that they have to do, um, minimum is what they're going to do. And I know this because I do it all the time. And like and it's not anything bad. It's just that, like we don't have time. Like we're doing so much all the time. Polly is doing so much all the time. Like we really don't have time to sit and write things for you all. Um, or sit and like be like, what was Joy really trying to say? Like, you know,
Right.
we're
It's
like
so funny. It's so funny
copy
you say it
paste
like that.
is copy paste is life.
No, but like that is so funny. Like, it's funny because you say that, and it reminds me of even just like even when I'm just like posting people's work on the Instagram or the Twitter, if someone has a caption, I'm more likely to post theirs because I'm literally just copy and pasting, and that it makes my life simple. That way, I don't have to think about what the thing or wait for one or whatever. Like, it
Like
really is captioning and all of that is so important. Um, I can't stress that
this could
enough.
be a whole nother like session
That
of
could
just like
really Instagram captions and writing that and the
like
art of that, like that really is a whole nother session because it really
because
does matter. And I've heard how editors, also view that. So yeah. Um this was great.
my last note before I
Yeah.
like before that, if it helps you, um have a lead image that reminds you of what you're
Mhm.
doing. So in that document, just plug in an image that like this is the vision that I have for this project, and this is what I want everything to look like. And so you can kind of every time you're looking at what you're writing, does it explain what I'm doing in this photograph? Because this photograph is like my like holy grail of what I want this project to be like. I know I have, if you go on my where is it at? Build your archive, learn project. This this header image that I use on this particular project right here is like the lead image that I have in my head all the time
I love
for
that.
this project. And it just reminds me, it was like one of the best, like it reminded me of like the entire experience of like what I did that day with that particular artist, like how that shoot happened, everything was just perfect for making that particular photograph, and yeah, just solidify what exactly I wanted to do. Like I always want to feel like that when I'm making the work, and so when you have a lead image like that, really getting into the why did I feel like that, why was that experience done that way, why did I make the light, why am I looking at light in that particular way, why did I compose the photograph in that particular way, and this will kind of answer your questions in the like in your how. Also you can kind of get into your how and your influences when you're looking at your lead photograph.
So good. I love it. I see Dola dropped hers in late. I don't know if you have time to review it, do you? Or do you want to connect offline?
I can review it really quick. I know I was late too, so
Okay.
I'm trying to get this routine thing down, y'all. I don't know what to do.
Listen, I am not one to judge. I am
Like I have to, like there's the like at this point in my life there's no room for me not.
I feel
Like
you.
it's like where it's like the part where like you like hit a ceiling. It's like the way that like you've been operating is like, all right, I can't do it like this anymore, because if I want to get like to there.
Yeah.
So
I feel you 100%. It's like I need to stop getting in my own way.
yeah.
Like
My favorite, like, it's a really bad negative self-talk thing, but it really gets me in shape. It's I tell myself, like, when I'm out of like sync, I'm like, when are you going to stop being an inconvenience to yourself?
ooh, listen, the way you be dropping these bars. Put it like that. Yeah.
I feel like y'all are yelling at me right now.
Right. Like
I'm
when she
talking
put
to
it like
myself.
that, like, yikes, okay, noted.
Dola, beautiful project name. I love that.
Thank you.
Also, if you want to get out of like the first person, just eliminate the I's from whatever you're writing and start using more present tense verbs. So when you say I grew up in Nigeria, you can start with growing up in Nigeria and living in the UK. So if you want to get out the habit of like feel like you're talking about yourself too much, just take out the I's. And it'll help you be more direct too without the I. So like you can take out this all I have is my imaginations and the ability well let me see. All I have is my imaginations and the ability to make images. I would I would say what I know most deeply and what I have, kind of like play around with that. What I know most deeply is like the landscape of my imagination and trusting my ability to make images. that's a lot stronger.
Yeah.
It's really it's like I'm trying to expand on all. Does that make sense, Dola? Through my photographs, I document and share my journey as a new mother and the relationship with my daughter. I want them to look like an old photograph from my childhood and a piece of my culture as a Black Nigerian mother. I have a project in mind that I can't remember. If I remember, it's in my head. But this one girl, she did her mother. She got older images of her mother, and then she like double exposed them onto photographs of herself, which was really interesting to see that. So like just as far as like the technique, thinking about how you can merge technique and presentation. I would want you to expand how exactly are you going to get them to look like an old photograph instead of saying I want them to. So really get into the technique of how you're going to do that.
Okay.
Um, and then, like I said, you don't really have in your statement, you don't have to say goals. You can put the project title again. Omi, like Omomi is is being dedicated or is here to inspire. Like, be very direct. Like you know what your title is. You don't have to really say your goal on the statement because, like, remember the first place that you're putting this is on your website. So don't think about the first place that you're telling people about your project is an application. Like that's not what we're writing for. We're writing for ourselves, um, and not these white people.
Yeah.
I'm funny, but yeah, I think you have a really strong start here. I would say a good practice would be to take out those eyes and really expand on like this experience, like really give adjectives to these experiences and what it feels like to be a first time mother, like the deep love that you have for your child, like really give us a visual for that here in like that. So if you have to explain certain moments with that you've had with your child, like you like waking up at 2 a.m because that's the most quiet moment that you have with her. You're able to look at her and she's just the most angelic person. Like really get descriptive, get as big and as descriptive and as broad as you can, and then like I said, like that's when like you can like edit down. But for the beginning part of it, like give us the entire thing, like, and then show it. And then I would say for your wear, um I know you said growing up in Nigeria during the pandemic, um if you have been having this experience in your home, like really give us like succinct places. So is it the kitchen, is it the living room, is it the bathroom, like where in your home are you like documenting these moments? And then like I guess also a good practice for you all is to outside of me giving you more homework, um outside of like the glossary, think about your shot list, right? Think about like think about just as you would work with the client and you give them a shot list of like, okay, these are the shots that I know I'm going to give to you when you get your photos back. Think about the shots that you want. So is it like you cooking in the background and she's like laying on the couch, or is it you like scrambling, like falling out of the shower because she starts crying, or is it you like what type of shots do you want? And that will also kind of give you your how and your why. So create a shot list for your project. More
Yeah. I've
homework.
done some where I was breastfeeding her, and some I haven't posted where I was cleaning her and like giving her a bath or oiling her, and the time where she was sleeping, there was like a yellow light.
Mm,
It just reminded me of Nigeria because we don't have lights.
mm,
So it felt like a lantern
Mm,
Yeah, so I have that. So thank you for mentioning that. It means like I'm on the right track.
mm, yeah. And like I said, every like writing, because I think I became a great writer because I'm not a great writer. I am a work in progress. But I became like the writer that I am now is because I wanted to help people visualize what I see in my head, or I wanted to help people visualize like when they're reading something about my work, they can see their work in their head. Like they don't have there's no ifs and buts about like what my work looks like, is because in words I've given that to them, and so even before they see the work samples, they're able to like see that in their head, just like you're able to see the photographs in your head before you shoot them, right?
Mhm.
So take that practice over into your writing and it's like game changer.
Thank you.
um did anybody have any more questions?
Anyone at all? If not, that's totally fine as well. Sierra's in the Slack. You can reach her there or online. In all her bars that she shares on Twitter and that sphere and whatnot.
I need to get off Twitter today. I have too much to do.
Then, yeah. So yeah, I think this was a very great feedback session. Thanks to all who put themselves out there and shared their statements. I know that can always be uneasy, and but I think you all were great in doing that. And for those who are just listening and tailoring it to theirs, hopefully it was helpful. Again, you can rewind and go back to part 1 if you missed anything. And yeah, and I think Yasmin, I definitely feel like we can make a whole session on that. So yeah, I'll start thinking about who would be good for that, and Sierra, you're free to join in on that one, because that is a whole nother lesson in that. Instagram sessions, captioning for sure would be good.
But once you write your statement, like you just pull from there.
Yes.
It's like
Copy
you've done
paste.
the hard work, copy paste, put hashtags.
Exactly. Well, thanks, y'all. I hope your Monday will continue to be well. Thank you, Sierra, as always, for your time and expertise. Yeah, I have to go back to work myself. So,
you know.
Thank you.
thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Bye, everyone.